So hello and welcome to the 2021 Specialty Crop Block Grant Program, or SCBGP, HR 133 Stimulus Funding Webinar. This presentation will provide an overview of the entire grant solicitation process. Then we'll review the budget template and the outcome measures. Before we begin, we want to ask you to please submit your questions through the Questions tab on the GoToWebinar dashboard. You can submit them at any time and we'll answer questions at the end of each presentation. First, we'll take a look at the definition of specialty crops. Specialty crops are fruits, including dried fruits, vegetables, and tree nuts, culinary and medicinal herbs and spices, and nursery, floriculture, and horticulture crops. SCBGP funds cannot benefit non-specialty crops such as dairy, livestock, or any other ineligible commodities, including cannabis. A more comprehensive list of eligible and ineligible commodities can be found on USDA's website, which is linked here. Here are the elements of the Request for Proposals, or RFP. Today we'll provide a general overview of the program. We strongly encourage all applicants to review the full RFP. So about the program. HR 133 stimulus funding was authorized by the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. State departments of agriculture are encouraged to use funds to address priority needs related to COVID-19 impacts. California is looking to address critical issues faced by the specialty crop industry, and 3 of the 4 project types address COVID-19 impacts or economic recovery. And $100 million was awarded according to USDA's formula in addition to annual Farm Bill funding for the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program. So you may already be familiar with the SCBGP Farm Bill funding, and here are a few changes to the HR 133 stimulus funding. First, the funding range is higher with a maximum award amount of $1 million. The grant duration is 3 years, and we anticipate projects will begin January 1, 2022. This opportunity is limited to 1 proposal per organization. An organization is defined as having a unique tax identification number, DUNS number, or UEI. If an organization has 1 tax identification number but multiple DUNS or UEI, that organization will be limited to 1 proposal. There are 4 project types instead of the traditional funding areas, funding categories, and program priorities. This will be a 1-phase competitive solicitation. Proposals will be ranked instead of scored. The highest ranked proposals will be invited to develop a full proposal for submission to USDA. CDFA may require additional changes to the scope or budget of a proposal as part of this process, and there will not be feedback for this opportunity. Entities that are eligible to apply to this opportunity include nonprofit and for-profit organizations, local, state, federal, and tribal government entities, and public and private colleges and universities. However, individuals are not eligible to apply. Proposals will undergo 2 levels of review. The administrative review is an internal review conducted by CDFA Office of Grants Administration staff to verify completeness and eligibility, assess administrative feasibility, and if applicable, review the applicant's past performance. The technical review will be conducted by a volunteer committee comprised of subject matter experts from CDFA programs and divisions. Technical review committee members will use their expertise to evaluate and rank proposals. The timeline for the solicitation process can be found here and in the RFP. Note that the application deadline is 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time on August 8th, 2021. Applicants will be notified in September whether they are invited to develop a full proposal. The timeline to develop the full proposal with assistance from CDFA will be approximately 6 to 8 weeks. CDFA plans to submit proposals to USDA in November, and we anticipate that projects can begin in January 2022. For this one-time funding, CDFA has identified 4 project types rather than using funding areas, funding categories, and program priorities. This is meant to provide as much creativity and flexibility as possible for prospective applicants. The 4 project types are projects that promote economic recovery from COVID-19, projects that assist specialty crop farmers in adaptation to impacts of COVID-19, projects that address nutrition and access issues in communities most affected by COVID-19, and projects that secure the long-term competitiveness of California specialty crops. If a proposal addresses more than one project type, applicants should select the single project type that best aligns with their proposal. More than one project type cannot be selected. In regards to the project type selected, costs must conform to the allowable and unallowable costs and activities table, and each proposal must be able to achieve at least one outcome and indicator from the outcome measures template within the grant duration. The required application templates can be downloaded from the CDFA SCBGP website that's linked here. All 3 templates must be submitted in a single email delivered to grants@cdfa.ca.gov by 11:59 Pacific Time on Sunday, August 8th, 2021. And if you have applied to the Special Crop Block Grant Program in the past, please note that CDFA will not be using the FAST system for this opportunity. So there are 3 required templates. First, the HR 133 proposal template that we'll review over the next several slides. The budget template, and this template is similar to the regular concept proposal budget template if you've applied for block grant funding in the past. And then the outcome measures template. This template is unchanged from the 2021 SCBGP Farm Bill solicitation. One thing to make a quick note of, and we'll remind you again, but this template, the outcome measures template, was developed for the 2021 SCBGP. It asks for a PIN number. You do not need to provide us with a PIN number. You won't have your PIN number until you submitted your proposal to us, so you can disregard that section of the application. It will not affect your proposal. And then we'll review the budget template and outcome measures on the presentations that follow this one. Before we begin reviewing each section of the template, we want to clarify that there is no specific page no specific page, character, or word limit for the proposal template. However, proposals should be concise, and there are 2 areas of the template that we'll address shortly where word limits are encouraged if not specifically required. So the applicant organization should be the legal name of the organization that will directly apply for funding and will be the entity that enters into an agreement with CDFA if selected for funding. The submitting organization only needs to be completed if the organization that develops and submits an application is different than the applicant organization. Applicants can enter NA if there's no submitting organization or leave the question blank. It won't harm your application. The organization type that best describes the applicant should be selected from the drop-down menu. Note that school districts are typically considered local government entities. All applicants must include their 9-digit federal taxpayer identification number. And do want to make a note, do not provide an individual social security number or transmit an application with a social security number to CDFA. Applicants must provide their DUNS or UEI. In the event an applicant doesn't have a DUNS or UEI, they should begin this process as soon as possible and then register in the federal system for award management. The funds requested must be between $250,000 and $1 million. Please don't include cost share and make sure that the amount matches the total of the budget template. The project title should be clear, concise, and no more than 15 words. Please make sure that your project duration is within the specified start and end dates on this slide and in the RFP. Select the project type from the drop-down menu that best matches your proposal. And then your project description. Please keep the project description to 250 words or fewer and use common terms when possible, as the description will be published on the CDFA and USDA websites if a proposal is awarded funding. Each proposal must have at least one objective. This will be a major goal of the project, and if selected for submission to USDA, project objectives will be the basis for your work plan. Project beneficiaries must include the number of direct beneficiaries a project will affect within the grant duration and include a brief description of how they will benefit. Ensure your beneficiaries are reasonable, achievable, and reportable within the grant duration. Overstating beneficiaries will not increase the likelihood of funding, but may adversely affect future awards as an issue of past performance. If your proposal builds on a prior year SCBGP project, including applications submitted to USDA from the 2021 SCBGP, provide the agreement number or PIN number, describe how the proposal differs from the existing project or projects, and explain how the project will not be indefinitely dependent on SCBGP funds. If the project has been funded by or submitted to another state or federal grant program, provide the grant program and the amount requested. This includes any applications that are current or anticipated, and additional information will be required if a proposal is selected for submission to USDA. And the final question, project oversight. This should include a brief summary of the qualifications of the key personnel. Please do not include resumes or CVs. Okay, all proposals are subject to the following requirements. First, the federal administrative requirements and cost principles that are described in the Code of Federal Regulations. USDA and CDFA program USDA and CDFA program requirements, which are combined on the allowable and unallowable cost and activity table on the CDFA SCBGP website. All right, so please continue to submit your questions and answers. Please continue to submit your questions through the questions tab, and we'll address those at the end of the presentation. In addition, we'll publish a single Q&A document inclusive of all questions received through July 30th, no later than August 4th, 2021.